Welcome back to On the Slab Horror Show. What night is it, lads? Tell me, please. Tell me what night is it? One is
Monday. No, it's Friday.
It's Friday night.
What Friday? What do we do on Friday? It's what night?
It's horror night, gents.
Exactly. Welcome back to the show. This is On the Slab, exclusively on the Dynamo Podcast Network. Thanks again for hanging out with us. And we're going to talk about a really cool film tonight. But before we do, let me just talk to the lads. Ian, the Dynamo Kelly, how are you, brother?
I'm all good, my man.
That's what I like to hear.
It's Christmas.
I can't see you, though. I can't see you for some reason.
I know. That's the problem. I'm in Mirage tonight. I've got my old WCW curtains behind me.
Sexy as ever. I love it. Greg, G-Man, how's tricks?
What's happening, homie?
I love it. As I said, it's where we were on a wrestling podcast tonight, but that's for another show.
Wrestling is life.
Yes, indeed. So I'm going to give the tagline for this film and see if people, well, they're going to know by the name of it anyway, but you're fucking. And of course, it's every 23 years, for 23 days, it gets the feed. Greg, what are we talking about tonight?
Debbie Does Dallas.
Got it in one. We are talking about the franchise.
But then when Dallas gets inside Debbie, she gets the Jeepers Creepers.
Oh, I love
Nice.
it. The segue king himself. I love it. I fucking love it.
Yeah,
We're gonna have a little chat about a film that's dear to my heart, and I know it's dear to Greg's
dear to
heart.
my arm.
It's dear to his arm. It's stuck on his arm.
It's actually, do you know what, lads? It's actually very dear to my better half's heart as well. It's one of her favourite horror movies too.
Shout out to the Queen, Rachel.
Mm-hmm.
How is she doing? Hope she's all good. Yeah.
All good as always.
We gotta do a Disney horror special before some evening. Then something.
Disney is horror.
I know. Like we could just break down fucking Walt Disney with her, like
Just ask all the QAnon people. Disney's the enemy.
Yeah, again, Jesus, we're getting loads of content for.
We're joking, of course.
No, we're not. So anyway, there's 3 films in the series so far. Soon to be 4, and we'll just like I said, we love this film. We love the creeper. We love the whole idea behind it. I mean, it's a film that was like the first one. When I say the first one, was fantastic. And when you think about it, that was actually, I don't know, you probably know this, Greg, but it was like the whole concept of it. Well, they're not the creeper himself, but a man got the idea. He read about some guy who killed his wife in front of the children, and the kids saw him dumping the body down a hole like what you see in the film, and then he actually chased after the kids.
There's a bit more to it as well.
Oh yeah, I'm just skating over it, like.
Yeah, so that was one part of it, and then the second.
It's not retrotainment, like,
Yeah, there was the second part was someone had read a story of a guy who had actually sewn people onto the walls of the house.
Jesus.
Which obviously you see in the first one in the church.
Yeah.
But it's an immense movie. Like
it sounds like that guy's idol was the great
Ed Gein.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, that man has a lot to answer for.
I'd say that probably added into it as well in parts of that, like taking part of Ed Gein coming in, but like the direction of this movie, it goes very dark very quickly, and it only gets worse.
Yeah. 2001 was when it was released. Give us a rundown on the film itself and what you thought of it, and go from there.
I remember this coming out. I was 12 when it came out in video.
What year was it again? 97, was it?
2001.
2001.
Oh, 2001, sorry.
We saw it in the cinema, believe it or not.
I did not. But I remember it coming out in video because I used to hang around in the video shop in Bray. And I remember getting
Which one, Greg?
Chartbusters.
Man, the best.
And I remember going home and I watched it 4 times back to back.
Wow.
It was fucking brilliant. Basically, it's a brother and sister driving across country. Don't ask me why they don't fly, but they drive across country.
Road trip.
Yeah, but that takes like 4 years or something to drive across America. But they go along and they see a guy dropping what looks to be a sheet down a well or a tunnel, a pipe. And obviously then, being nosy bastards, they have to go and explore. And well, shit hits the fan then.
Literally.
They start getting chased down by what can only be about a 5-liter engine truck.
It's a cool looking truck.
Awesome truck.
I love it. Yeah.
I will say that.
One of my favorite vehicles from a horror movie.
From any movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, it's no 1967 Shelby GT now, but
or Ecto 1.
It's no 1989 Batman either. So I'm just saying,
but it was probably quicker than that though.
Yeah, probably. To be fair,
like it goes, it's like the town covers this up in a way. Like they go down to the diner for help, and no one seems to want to care. The sheriff comes, and then they get hunted down by what can only be described as, what would you say, the Undertaker crossed with Legend.
That's a very good way to put it. Yeah.
That's literally like I'm pretty sure it's a rip off of Legend.
Yeah, I think it's a great way of putting
in the Undertaker fucking gimmick, almost. Yeah.
And it's like, because you never really see the face or anything till late on. Remember, like,
I kind of like, I'm on the opposite with you guys. I wasn't a big fan of this movie. Not gonna lie. Don't care if it gets me heat. We can't.
Not gonna get you heat from us. It's okay.
But that doesn't mean I think it sucks. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a different movie for certain people.
Absolutely. I mean, I'll give you my reasons why I didn't love it as much as I wanted to love it. I thought some of the acting at times was a little bit fucking, especially because it was 2001.
It's horror acting.
Yeah, it was almost like it was like
Gina Phillips. Yeah.
It was almost like it was 1980s acting, but like you expect more in that era. If it does that make sense?
I get you. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Victor Salva had a lot of movies come out in the 80s. So I think he kind of tried to keep the way he did. Same, like he brought Francis Ford Coppola in to do production with him, and obviously he has his way of doing it as well.
And there is elements of it that I like I say, when they get down into the bunker or whatever it is that they're, wherever it is that all the bodies are, like it's very, very 80s. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's really cool. It's a really kind of cool throwback to. Even Argento, I suppose, and a lot of like John Carpenter stuff in there with the whole kind of, a lot of it's animatronics, I suppose, but it's more art. It's more Geiger art or something, isn't it?
Yeah. There's not a lot of moving parts to it, which is great.
Yeah. But I thought one of the reasons that I'm sure we'll get into it is like when I found out that this guy is a fucking alien, I was like, oh, you fucking lost me now. You fucking lost me.
Well, theoretically, you don't really figure that out in the first one.
No, but I watched the second one. So this is what bothered me. I was like, no, this motherfucker should be a demon. Like, if he's a demon, I'm all in. So, lads, I am nitpicking like a motherfucker here. So, you can tell me to go fuck myself, and I will absolutely appreciate it. But it's, you understand where I'm coming from?
Absolutely.
I thought if they had changed just little narratives within the context of the series,
I think I think you could actually turn, if you just said, I think it's a demon.
Yes.
And if you just think of it as a demon because it looks like some sort of what you would expect a demon to look like.
It's Freddy Krueger on crack, man.
Exactly. Greg, what do you think? Like, do you think is it more like a demon or an alien? What's your take?
I'm not entirely sure what it is, to be honest. I know the knife in the second one depicts him coming down from the sky, but I'm not sure that means that he comes down from space. Do you know that kind of way?
Yeah.
Like, his body closes itself up, and he comes out of the ground. Like, they say he comes out of the ground. So, like, where does that come from? Is he coming from hell? Is he just a thing that's been here?
Yeah.
Like, but they never delved into it. Like, Victor Salva for the fourth one that he was supposed to do was supposed to delve right into the backstory.
If you keep mentioning that name, I'm gonna kick you off this podcast.
I mean, he was the director.
I don't care. Anyway, go on.
He was talking. There was like the script was apparently that he was gonna delve right into the backstory of the Creeper. Now I know they kind of went into it in the third one, but not enough for what fans actually wanted.
No, I still think if now this is just what I think. If they had left this as a standalone film on its own, it would have had much more of an impact. I feel, you know. I do love the film. I think Justin Long is gas in it. You know, I think he's a good.
He's a great character actor.
Yeah, he's a great character actor. You know, and he kind of plays himself all the time.
Yeah, did you ever see Tusk?
Oh yeah,
the Kevin Smith one.
Fucking fantastic. Yeah.
But even
Johnny Depp with the makeup and all on it as well. Like sitting with him in the fantastic.
Justin Long is even in from Drag Me to Hell. He's the boyfriend in that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a very like you'd almost would have expected him to be in like one of the American Pie movies or something, wouldn't you? He's he's that kind of actor.
I'm generally surprised he wasn't. He's done a lot of those kind of comedy movies, like he done Accepted and things like that.
He's a great podcast now as well, actually.
Oh, does he?
Oh. Yeah. Great podcast. The name has escaped me, but I will get it for you now while you boys talk.
And of course, before we move on from this film, of course, we're assuming most people have seen this film, but if you haven't, you're getting a general idea of what we're talking about here, and I feel it's a very underrated film.
If you haven't watched it and you've come here to give us shit for spoiler alerts, then me, as the fucking as they call me, yeah. Well then, what the fuck are you doing?
It's 20. The movie's 20 years old.
Yeah.
Get over yourself.
Exactly. Come on, dude.
Hold on, we'll ruin Halloween 1978 for you there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a spoiler. Fuck off.
Listen, lads, before we go on, we have to give a special shout out to Jonathan Brecht, because who played the Creeper in all the films, didn't he? All three films?
Yeah. Played all three, yeah.
His movement, everything, and the next, and especially his facial movements in the second film, which we're going to be talking about in literally 20 seconds.
Good.
So, just Jonathan Brecht. And I feel a very, very underrated actor and a very underrated character. Well, at the very end, we'll do a little summarization about the Creeper himself,
Like, as far as I remember, this won, like, all them horror awards that go around. This won, like, movie of the year 2001 and things like that.
Yeah, it did.
Like, it was a very scary movie at the time. Like, even now, it'd still be okay. Yeah. It aged well.
I only watched it there a few weeks ago, the first one, and it was like, I still love this film.
No,
very valid, very, very valid. Heel, bad guy, antagonist.
Yeah,
very much
without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah,
Jonathan Brecht must have watched a lot of The Undertaker or something. Even The Walk.
Yeah. Definitely.
Like the setup, or the guy who designed it, whose name evades me at this minute.
Yeah, Brian Pennictus.
Either Jonathan Brecht and him watched a lot of WWE at the time or whatever with The Undertaker. But that's the only thing you can ever think of, that the walk and the outfit came from there.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
Well, there you go. So a great film, absolutely great film. Have you had more to say about that before we move on, Greg? Because this is one of your babies.
It's an unbelievably, criminally underrated movie. I know Ian didn't think too much of it. Not that he thinks.
No, I just think it's overrated because of what.
Yeah, he had his valid reasons. Well,
that's the thing.
But I only think it's overrated, just so I get context on this, because what does Eric Bischoff say? Context is king. Exactly. The only reason I think it's overrated is because I am, as you know, and you are in your own way as well, I'm a bit of a horror snob.
Yes.
So I had been just built up, if you've seen that, you'll see this. And I suppose when I went in and watched it, it was like, that didn't really do what I thought it would do for me. So that's all. But listen, if I'd have never heard about it before and nobody had built it up, I'd have probably went, it's a pretty decent fucking.
Yeah, like if you had watched this, say when it first came out, it might have been different.
I know,
100%, 100%.
And that's why I love it. That's why I love it, because I've seen it in the cinema. But that's the first one, 2001. Then we move on to Jeepers Creepers 2, which is
Justin Long podcast, by the way, for anybody out there that was waiting on me to find it. It's called Life is Short with Justin Long.
Okay.
And it's a really cool podcast. He gets different actors on, and they just talk shit. And he's actually a very entertaining guy. I like him a lot.
Sounds good. Anyway, so we're going to move on to Jeepers Creepers 2, which is in 2003. And doesn't that take place like a few days or a few weeks after the first one, Greg?
It's the next day.
Right, okay. So it's the next day. So give us.
It's it's 2 days beforehand. Sorry, 2 is 2 days beforehand.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because at the end of 2, when they're on the bus, if you watch the end of 3,
okay,
3 is them going out in the car to the bus.
Oh yeah.
So
okay, so we've got. See, they did these films all the wrong way around, didn't they?
Well, like because technically at the end of 1, he closes up.
Yeah.
No, sorry, you're right. Sorry, I'm mixing it up here.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry, I had to think there. Sorry, yeah, 1 he flies out the window at the end.
Yeah.
And then so that happens 2 days before 2, and then 2 is 2 days before 3. Yeah.
So if the second one is a few days after the fourth.
Yeah, it's about 2 days after.
Yeah. So give us a little rundown of that.
That was my mistake. Yeah, so the second one starts off with a school and a bus, or a school basketball team coming home. A school on a bus?
What kind of a school is that?
I could actually give an answer to that, but I'm not going to.
Go on. No.
What happened? Banned
especially with the first director, so please don't.
So it's basically a school basketball team coming back on a bus from a state basketball game.
They won, I think, didn't they win?
They did, yeah. And of course they have the words cock in their name.
Yeah.
Which they allude to quite regularly.
Yeah. It's a film of its time, it really is, isn't it?
Yeah, like this didn't need to be made.
No.
This was a money spinner that I think it was Paramount that brought this out.
Yeah, I think it was, yeah.
I could be wrong on that, but
see, they look at the Elm Street franchises, and they look at the fucking the Jason franchise, and they look at the Halloween franchise, and they thought, oh, we can do that too.
Yeah.
As soon as you get a slasher that's quite popular, it's game ball for about 15 of them. Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, look at that crap. Look at that crap franchise Wrong Turn, and you know.
Don't you start over there with your Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
You watch it,
1970, whatever, can stay in there. Dirt it is.
Timeless. Classic.
Yeah, timeless. Junk.
I'm backing up the king on this one. Right? If you're telling me Jeepers Creepers is good and Texas Chainsaw Massacre isn't, I'm out.
Yeah, well, tag out then.
Done you a bit of friendly jostling here, you know.
I run this motherfucker. I ain't going nowhere.
Greg knows who's running the show.
We're segueing a bit here.
Yes, so let's go back on track here.
So basically they're coming back along.
We're not on 3 yet, no.
We're on 4. You disappeared for that long.
We're both disappearing for 3.
So they're coming back along. I think it's called the East 9 Road that runs from wherever in America to wherever, and their bus is attacked by
with that cool, like a shuriken, isn't it?
Yeah, the throwing star that's made from teeth and a belly and Justin Long's belly button.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And then you have obviously the scene where the little kid's taken at the start.
I love that scene. That's one of my favorite scenes.
So
opening scenes.
See this? This is supposed to have a piece here where the creeper is up on his
perch.
Yeah, but it was supposed to be done in like shadow work. I just never got a chance to get it finished.
That's
cool.
The people can't see it, Greg, but guess what? One day we'll be at a Comic-Con and they will get to see it up close and personal.
Yeah.
100%.
Just like we have.
Absolutely.
But and then like shit hits the fan in this one.
I love how it's mainly based around the bus.
Yeah.
I love that.
To me, it struck me that they didn't have a huge budget for this one. That's why they used the likes of a farm and a bus and probably a country road.
It's all you need.
Yeah. Exactly. Like, I mean, like, look at The Hitcher, for instance. It's done with little to nothing.
Yeah.
And it works perfectly, like. This one works. As I said, it didn't really need to be made. To me, it was like a cash grab. Now, I'm glad it was because there's some great one-liners in it.
Yeah.
And the creeper, you really see what he can do in this one.
Yeah. Although, in my opinion, they make him seem a bit weaker in this one. I feel, you know, how when they if he's meant to be an alien or a demon or whatever the fuck it's meant to be, it shouldn't be able to be just got by a big huge fucking hook, you know.
Well, I mean, he's traveling at speed, and that thing's coming at him at speed. It's going to stop anything. Do you know what I mean?
It's true.
That's very true.
Like in the first
look
one,
at Roswell,
in the first one, like you one shoots the scarecrow, and that's about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't really see him take much damage, bar a couple of bullets.
Yeah, I suppose.
Do you know what I mean?
I just had to laugh at that one. I'm sorry, boys.
Roswell.
just look at Roswell.
We'll just carry on from that one.
You are just gonna just open up a load of different podcasts with your little throwaway comments.
Well, it's true. Like what Greg said is right. Like you're traveling at speed, it's going to take down that. And fucking Roswell's a perfect example. The boys, the little greys, are fucking shooting across the stars, and then they land on some farm down in New Mexico.
How did we get from Creepers to bleeding Roswell?
Well, we're talking about aliens, aren't we?
It could tie in.
Yes, absolutely, it could tie in. Come on, host, get with the fucking program.
How many lives has he got left now? Because I lost all mine after a week.
He's infinite lives. He's the podfather. You know what I mean? So
I lost all mine after a week.
Not even a week.
You've gained a few because you've agreed with me, Greg. You're all right.
I love the facial walk of Jonathan Brecht in this one, where he's looking when he's upside down and
he's looking in the bus window and he's like,
he's just breathing onto the bus and everything. That, like, again, the film as a whole isn't great, but the opening scene for me is fucking awesome. And where he's kind of stalking them on the bus, all that kind of stuff is just class.
I love this though, where she's like asleep on the bus and you see him running through the cornfields.
Yeah.
And then you see her wake up a second before the wheel burst, and you're like, oh, so it was a dream, and then it just wasn't.
It wasn't.
Here's a legit question for you boys, actually. Like, obviously it's a different time now where we see Scream have like they have a series and stuff like that. Do you think if you had a really good kind of story writer, really good storyteller, really good director or whatever, you think that like when you look back at that could have been made for something like this, where it could have been a series almost? You know what I mean? 30 to 40 minute episodes, 6 episodes long, where you could really kind of tell a great narrative. Because, like I say, I do really like the character, and like you said as well, Carl, there's some great scenes within it. Yeah. But then it's muddled in with all of this nonsense as well. Yeah. Because I think the character and the kind of backstory to the town and stuff like that, the way Greg was kind of saying, it kind of deserves better, doesn't it?
I agree, absolutely. I think it would be great for like that kind of a mini-series type thing. Yeah. And then
like the way Stephen King used to do back in the day, with The Stand and with Salem's Lot and stuff like that. That's what
like you said, if you got a 6 episode season, and then the next season could be 24 years later or whatever, you know what I mean? Because 23 years later, sorry.
Yeah. If it gets good fucking feedback, 100% you've got.
Yeah, I mean, like the thing is, like you say there, the main protagonist is there in the Creeper. So if you got a decent fucking story writer, you have a great fucking show on your hands there. You really do.
Yeah. But the love that this film has, like this franchise has.
Oh yeah.
It's up there. Yeah, it's definitely there.
Because I remember when 3 started shooting, and the whole internet blew up about it.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, Jeepers Creepers 3 has been spotted filmed down in Louisiana. Like,
I do recall that, actually. Yeah, I do recall.
And the only reason no one knew it was being shot, the only reason they found it was because someone brought the truck in to be filled up. And then someone followed it and they found the set. Like, it was all done hush hush. Obviously, it was done hush hush due to being done by Sci-Fi, who don't like to let anything out.
Listen, Sci-Fi were actually pretty awesome back in their day.
Back in the day,
anymore. But back in the day, man, if you wanted to see a good horror, Sci-Fi was the one.
Yeah, but this movie, like the scene on the bus here, you know, when they get off and the teacher gets off, and he's just dropping the flares and it takes her away, and your man comes running back in. He's like, "What did you see? What did you see? She flew away." What do you mean she flew away?
You know, we'd be remiss to actually not talk about the dad and the son of the
kid that's taking
the dad's deadly in this,
and the dog.
Yeah. So you see, like, there is good bits in it. It's just, as Ian said, it's in a mishmash of all this other stuff that's not great, you know. But
yeah. Like there's definitely elements that are good there.
Like there's good parts to every story, but there seems to be more middle to nothing in this than there is.
Yeah.
Like you could have fleshed around the good parts.
Exactly.
And kind of just made it strong rather than kind of going away.
But it's like
great. That's why you have great directors and then not so great directors. You know,
exactly.
What I mean? They'll know. I mean, it's like look. I'll always use my own analogy. You know what I mean? A great pro wrestling match is determined by the guys in the ring when they know that they're doing too much and they're like at a loss. They know when it's time to wrap it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's really where I stand on it.
It should have stopped at the first one. Now I'm glad they made the other two. Like 3 is a heap of junk, but I quite enjoy it for the story to it. But
yeah, it's not the worst thing, but like I mean, it was doomed to fail. But we'll talk about that in a minute, though. But
if anyone's out there though that wants to, that has money behind them and they, I honestly do believe that you could really do a great origins kind of story on this one and make a series out of it.
Bring me in, I'll help.
Yeah, 4 to 6 part. Yeah, absolutely, Greg. I would be throwing your name right into the hat.
Throw it out to Netflix there, see what they say.
No.
Yeah.
So that's number 2, because like I say, there's not as much love for that one in this room anyway, in our little collective room.
Well, I do enjoy 2.
That's enjoyable, but it's nowhere compared to the first.
Like 2, the end of 2 is the ending of the trilogy.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So 2, when 2 ends, 2 is the ending of the trilogy.
I hate that when filmmakers do that.
They try to be too smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't like it.
There is, like, they done it with Star Wars. Do you know what I mean? They done the 3, and then they went back and did the prequel 3, and then they've done the newer ones.
I watched one Star Wars after the original 3 and went, ask my bollocks, forget it.
I've seen them all, but they shouldn't have ended it with the way they did here. No. But as I said to you, this was a money grabbing thing.
Yeah, and it's obvious as well.
I'd say they thought it was 2 and done, and then 2 got a lot of love. For some reason or another, it got a lot of love off the likes of Comedy Central and things.
Because the Creeper's kind of not funny, but there's a lighter side to him or something. I don't know. Like you said, Ian, they were trying to
like Leprechaun,
like Freddy Krueger, like the way, do you know what I mean? Maybe they were looking at Krueger and saying, "Oh, maybe we can get a bit of humor into this lad." I don't know. Yeah, I really don't know.
Yeah, I think.
Let's get on to 3 before I.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, 3 it'd be a quick one through.
That was in 2017, and of course, there was an awful lot of fucking controversy surrounding that. I think it was released in 2 or 3 cinemas in the States for one night.
And John, who was at that one night?
Yeah,
this guy.
Of course. The guy with the tattoo.
Yeah, I was over on my honeymoon and it happened to be playing an AMC cinema in Universal.
I do love that.
That's class.
And I was like, I said to Zoe, I'm going.
In Orlando?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm going.
Give us a quick rundown on the third one then. And that's set in between 1 and 2, isn't it?
Yeah, so this is the day in between. So 1 is 2 days before 2, 3 is in the middle, and then 2 is the end. Something like that.
Yeah.
There's a weird timeline to it. Well, technically 3 is set 23 years beforehand at one stage. So like it starts off with.
So it's a clusterfuck.
Yeah,
pretty much.
At the start of the first one, you hear them talking about their cousin that went missing on the 9. Remember they said all they found was a hand.
Yeah.
Or he was missing his head. And then he finds them in the church.
That's right, yeah.
And so 3 starts with that couple on the 9 being taken. And then goes to like her ma and her niece and the boyfriend that's on the bus in the second one. And you're like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, it wasn't great. It wasn't great at all.
Like, I liked what they tried to do with the story, but they just kind of mush fucked it into nothing.
Mush fucked it. I like that one. I've never heard that one.
That's just me rushing 2 fucking words together and hoping for the best.
Very similar to the film.
Yeah, pretty much.
No. Exactly.
Mine didn't cost 4 million quid or 5 million quid.
Well, here's the thing, lads. I don't understand, right? Like, see, like we were talking around about, we have the character, the main protagonist is there. How can you do a mush fuck of a film. You know what I mean? I don't get that.
That's a new word now, isn't it? That's gonna be a mushfuck.
I'm patenting that word.
Hashtag mushfuck.
We're getting t-shirts made.
Absolutely.
Get on it,
Greg. Yeah, I mean, there's not really else. Like again, the story for me is poor. You know, it's just didn't hit with me whatsoever. I actually, the first time I watched this, I turned it off halfway through. I was bored shitless with it.
If this doesn't define a new sci-fi movie, I don't know what does.
Exactly. And I think I think we don't even need to talk anymore about it, to be honest with you.
Although I will say it has one of the roughest scenes where you see the spear going through your man's shin.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's so bad. Oh, it's so bad. I cringe so bad.
But of course, I mean, like I say, we are going to skim over that one because it's not.
That's all there is good to it.
Yeah. So, of course, we're going to get a new era of Jeepers Creepers with a new trilogy and a new director. Thankfully, in my opinion, hopefully, excuse me. Hopefully, it brings a fresh look and perspective on the whole of that universe outside of the Creeper. You know.
Yeah, I hope they delve into the backstory. Like, it's called Jeepers Creepers Reborn. Like we've seen other franchises come back with the name Reborn as well. So I'm not sure what they're gonna do with it. Like, we haven't been told anything. All we see is the picture and like a 10-second snippet in a house. So like, has the Creeper gone into hiding after the third one or after the second one? What's going on?
All I want, if they are going to do a trilogy, is do it in fucking time, in chronological order, please.
Yeah,
you know?
I don't know. Like, they haven't even announced who's playing the Creeper yet.
No.
I'm kind of hoping Jonathan Brett goes back.
Me too.
But I don't know if he will. I think he might be done.
And you can understand that as well if he is done with that franchise. You know?
Like, you can fully understand if anyone was done with it.
Yeah.
But that's for a different show.
Exactly, but look, we have that to look forward to, which is great.
Yeah, and it's not too far away either. I think it's only going to be in March or April.
So we're going to end this with one. I'm going to ask you one question, and I probably know the answer, but where would you rate the Creeper in the monster kind of Hall of Fame? We'll say, would you rate him high or low, or give me what you think quickly.
If you're asking me for 2 slabs of meat or 5 slabs of meat, I'll go first.
Are you talking about for the Creeper or the films?
With the Creeper, he's from the films for me, so therefore, he's nowhere near. But we've had a show on this before on a different podcast. Myself, Greg, and Ted.
Oh yeah, that was back in the day.
And Dracula 1. So as far as I'm concerned. If I'm rating him, if I'm giving him 2 slabs of meat, that's me being kind.
That's fair. Greg, what do you think?
In terms of horror Hall of Fame, it'd be middle of the pack somewhere. He could be a very forgettable character. As much as I like him, doesn't necessarily mean the next person would.
Exactly.
In terms of the franchise, 2 is probably fair, because if it was just 1, I'd have given it 4. If it was 1 and 2,
that's fair.
If it's 1 and 2, I'd be giving it 3. But because of how poor 3 was, I'll give it a 2.
Yeah, I'd be the exact same as you, Greg. If it was a standalone, you'd get a 4 slabs. In terms of the Creeper himself, I would put him kind of middle of the road, as you were saying about kind of middle to upper, but not up at the top. No way, he's nowhere near.
There's certain elite that you put in, and there's nothing that's going.
I was answering your question there as well, Carl. Like, it was like, when I put him to all the other, like, if I don't put him to any of the Universal Horror Monsters or any of the top franchises that have come out, like, I don't. But I mean, if you're asking me how I rated him as a character within the first movie and the first movie alone, he's definitely a 3 to a 4.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But sure, look, we'll leave it at that for now with this particular show. This has been a show myself and Greg and Ian wanted to do for a while, so we're delighted to finally get it out there.
It was a couple of weeks in the making. I know we said after the Misery show that this would be the next one, but we couldn't all get off to do it together. So
exactly,
here we are now, and of course we're running up to Christmas. So I know Retrotainment have a couple of Christmas specials going. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. But what we're going to do next week is we're going to talk about some horror Christmas horror films, and I think that's going to be a bit of crack, you know. So everyone better join us for a bit of a drink, and we can enjoy Christmas horror films, and we can give out what we think are good horror films. I think. What do you think we go with that, lads?
Oh yeah, 100%.
I'm down.
Yeah,
absolutely. But look, for now, we will get off this slab that we call home. And before we go, always check out the Dynamo Podcast Network on YouTube and Anchor and all those kind of cool platforms. We have everything on it. We say it all the time: like, share, subscribe. We have podcasts about music, horror movies, football, ice hockey. As I said, movies. It really is all there. And of course, the originator, the Dynamo's doesn't. You can't get much better than that, you know. So always check us out, check it out, download, like, share, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Am I right, boys?
That's you, boy.
Spot on.
And look, yeah, okay. Well, for now, we will get off this slab. Let you all get back to your Friday night horror night, and we will see you soon. Adios, fellas.